Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the Guts to Fail. It is Thursday, September 24th. My sister's birthday. Happy birthday to Brittany. I love you. Today we have Shannon Lochan, like Lohan, but Lochan. She just said that and I really like it. And I am so excited to introduce you to her. Before we got on here live, I was kind of saying, like, how did we meet? How'd that happen? And she said that she came to my studio. I was like, oh, really? Well, sometimes I tend to get rid of things and have these fabulous little craft sales or whatever. And she came there and then to Bingo, and we've been following each other on Facebook for a while. So Shannon owns a business called Natural Botanicals. It's the same on Facebook and Instagram. And I just want to tell you that she reached out to me when I was looking for Tiger King themed like prizes for bingo for Tiger King last month in August. And she brought me the most amazing candle, little soap, and square soap. And I had that for an extra month prior to the bingo. And I would walk by and sniff it. And the scent was amazing, but the look of it was so pristine. The candle that she made was in a little coffee mug, and everything was just swirled like Willy Wonka had done it. So, anyways, right before bingo, right before her raffle drawing, because we gave it away as a raffle, I passed it around at Dee Dee's, and everybody said the same thing that I had said. They wanted to keep it at their table to sniff. They wanted it, and they said it was so beautiful. So, without further ado, you you give soap makers a really, really good name, and you take it very seriously, and you do an amazing job. So I'm going to let you take over and tell us about you, who you are, family, everything, your background, and how you got started with Natural Botanicals.
Okay, sounds great. So first I want to tell you this is not my everyday get up. I dressed up for you ladies. This is how I look when I make soap, just to keep everything very hygienic, just to keep it very clean. We wear a lab coat and keep our hair back, gloves. So I'm a mom of 3 kids. I have a 20-year-old son.
Me too.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right.
I have a 12-year-old girl and a 2-year-old boy. So I have to tell you, they keep me rather busy. And I am married. We moved here from Florida 3 years ago almost. And 7 years ago, I decided to start venturing and looking into what I could do at home to help my son's eczema. So I suffer from psoriasis personally, and my eldest son has very severe eczema. And we constantly had to use steroid creams to help heal his skin, which I'm sure as most moms, there's a sense of reservation in regards to putting steroids consistently on your child or dosing them with Benadryl. Not saying there's anything wrong with it, but at some point you decide like something's got to give. And at that point, it just started small with, not even small. So for 2 years, myself and my partner, Shanna, so we have 2 locations. So there's Texas and there's Florida, and it's SSNatural Botanicals. We started off as like 2 lunch ladies in a kitchen, and really just thriving to make something for both of our children that would work well. And her daughter has eczema, so we both were constantly basically striving for just things that we can bring home to make our kids feel better, in the aspect of products after showering. A little background on her, besides just myself, is she's a retired chemist. So I like to think of us as like a leopard with stripes, and then a tiger with stripes and a leopard with stripes. Okay, forget I said that. Anyway, we're complete opposites. To know that she's a retired chemist and I'm just this fun girl, to put us 2 together, it's like oil and vinegar, but it works. And
how did y'all meet? How did you and her meet?
Our kids have been best friends since pre-K. And I am telling you, you put us two together and people think it's the funniest. She is, like I said, a retired chemist, super intelligent, and just as proper as they come. She's English. And then there's me. And we have been best friends since. So really, we just, for 2 years, we sat in the kitchen, reworking every recipe, trying to make it better and better and better. And then officially, like after so many family and friends tried our product, we decided, you know what, I think we've got a thing here. I think we've got something. And at that point, we branched out. At the time, I also owned a kids spa, which was a spa / party venue. So the two just went hand in hand.
Wow. Okay, so I'm trying to write as fast as I can. So she's proper. She's as proper as they can be, English. And your kids, you've known her for forever, and so you put you two together. You're oil and water, but you're like the yin and the yang.
100%.
100%. When you say reworking the recipe, tell us about what it looked like and how you first started, because this whole series is about the guts to fail, right?
Okay.
And I want to know the failures that not everybody sees.
Goodness, there's many. And actually, I can tell you that I have an entire box. I never threw one away. I have an entire box, every soap we poured that we failed on. And there were a ton. So it's like thinking that you can just wake up one day and be a master baker. You go in the kitchen, you make it, and you have to wait 4 weeks until you can try it. 4 weeks from pour time. And then at that time, you're like, oh my goodness. So sometimes we'd have batches that would seize, and it would literally look like a bowl of oatmeal.
What is a batch that seize? What's that mean?
It looks like a bowl of oatmeal. It does no longer look like soap. It really just looks like you completely failed. So you've taken all these natural oils that cost a pretty penny. You've poured them to make this loaf of soap, and it's gone nowhere because you did a poor job. Something went wrong. It's really chemistry, a lot to it. And we made so many ugly bars. They were ugly as sin. To the point where we didn't even want to use them. I mean, we would have like this big idea in our mind, like this is going to be so beautiful. And then we draw it on a paper, pour it, and go, oh my goodness, this is the ugliest looking bar I've ever seen. And we would not use it. In addition to that, there's also times where you can pour and hope for a great outcome. And to make cold processed soap, you use lye. And the cook process means the lye and the oils have been saponified to make a soap. And if you didn't do something properly, then it's lye heavy, which could be a very big irritant to someone's skin. So you have testing strips at the end where you test your bar to make sure there's no reactive lye left and that you've got a good quality bar. And at the end of the day, I mean, I just can't even tell you how many times we watched YouTube videos and read so many books thinking we've got this, and we definitely did not. We didn't. But we kept at it. We knew that we were onto something because when we did well, we did it well. And so we just kept going. And we fought a lot, but not in a bad way, more in along the lines of just trying to make a happy medium. Because I would come up with very like creative off the wall things. And to her, if it didn't make sense, we couldn't do it. But sometimes we would just meet in the middle and magic would happen.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. So tell me the difference between SSNatural Botanical Soap, like your most popular bar, and Ivory. Like what's the difference between a store brand and your brand?
Detergent. Yep. There is detergent in store brand soaps and store-bought soap, which instead of helping your skin absorb the oils, it actually dries you out, which makes you it makes your skin need more lotion, you know, a sense for more moisturizing because it's not actually putting oil in, it's pulling out. And so in addition to that, there's synthetic fragrance, there's synthetic coloring. One thing that we feel very strongly about, which I feel also makes us stand out, is that we won't use any synthetic coloring, which means dye, right? You see it in pretty much anything that you use. Instead, we like to take plants and flowers, any botanical, infuse them in an oil to achieve a color. So Bromwell root, it's a root, but that's how we achieve purple. We take that root and infuse it in an oil. We won't use a synthetic dye just because it's not good for your skin.
Wow. And how long does that take? And is that something that y'all did from the very beginning? You're like, we're going to make our own colors, or we're just not going to have color at all. How did that come about?
So we tried with mica, and mica is what you're going to find in 90% of these fun looking bars. They have all these whimsical colors and they look fantastic, but it's a synthetic dye. And we tried with them, and to be honest, we weren't great with mica. We just weren't great with the synthetic colorants. In addition to that, we knew that it's not something, if we were trying to achieve like this really organic, this all natural, then we wanted it to really be that. We want it to be authentic to that. And so, yes, we did try. And to be honest with you, a lot of things that you infuse, you can get an absolutely stunning color in the jar with your oil. And then when you pour it in soap, the end result is brown. Ooh. And you don't know that until it cures. That means you've put all this work into it. You've poured the bar. It looks blue, right? You've infused it with something blue. And then after it cures over a few weeks, you now have a brown loaf. No good. So once again, we did fail tremendously over and over with trying different things that we thought would achieve colors. It took a while to figure out what would bring us proper yellows and oranges and pinks just from natural items, so plants and flowers.
Tell me about the effects that it has had on your psoriasis and your daughter's eczema. And I know that, like, I've talking to direct sales companies like Young Living and doTERRA, there's certain things that they're not allowed to say,
Correct.
Right? But they can speak from personal experience.
Perfect.
So so your personal experience with your own products. I know it's so weird. You have a 20-year-old, a daughter in the middle, and a young son. It's exactly like me. And my daughter is the one with the severe eczema.
Okay.
I mean, severe since she was born, allergic to everything. So I'm very interested in that.
Perfect.
And how you tested that.
Okay. So sadly, I'm probably going to sound a little questionable for a minute. But in order to figure out what worked, we tried so many things on our own children. And we heard plenty of times like, ow, that burns. And thankfully enough that they were always brave enough to say like, hey, when we came in and we were like, hey, we've got something new we're going to put on you. We're just going to test the spot. We knew right away what works and didn't because there was a reaction. And so there were plenty of times where, like I said, we tried things on them and the outcome wasn't good. But we kept trying because, the end goal was to help them. So we did realize that even sometimes, let's say something as simple as an oatmeal bar, you would think, because so many people say like, I have eczema, I have psoriasis, try oatmeal, try Kaleido oatmeal. We thought surely it's got to be a winner, right? We tried an oatmeal bar on both of our children, and surely enough, it irritated their skin. I don't know why, but it did. So we have formulated a cream, which I gave to someone locally recently, and I appreciate so much that they loved it so much and wanted the recipe, but I couldn't share it.
Yeah.
We don't sell it because it hasn't been tested, but it is in the process. And this is a cream that will not heal the eczema, but once the skin is at bay, it has kept our children's eczema at bay.
Right.
So I can never guarantee that what we have will fully heal. It just will never irritate. So far from what I found within our own homes.
Right. Okay. So one thing, the only ship that doesn't sail is a partnership.
Okay.
So tell me that's an old saying.
Okay.
Tell me about how y'all work your partnership. How she's in Florida, you're in Texas. Do you have two separate franchises of the business and you don't commingle, or do you both make the same thing? Does she make everything and send it to you? How does that work?
We both do the same exact things, and it's because we did it together for so long that we both are capable of doing literally the same exact things. We formulated the recipes together. There's not one single thing that either of us can own individually. Even the creams, we have batch 1 and batch 2. but then we'd send it to each other in regards to like a written out recipe, and the other person would take out and remove what they thought wouldn't work. So everything has been a very good medium. We met right in the middle for everything that we do. And she does everything for Florida and I do everything for Texas.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to ship.
Yeah. How did, when you moved here 3 years from Florida, 3 years ago, how did you get Natural Botanicals off the ground here?
In Texas?
What were your tactics for marketing your own business and breaking out in a new market? I know so many people, especially that are going to watch this later, that are transplants. California, lots of California, but people that are moving to Texas and they're like, I'm so busy working, but I don't know anyone. I don't know how to get my, feet wet here. So how did you do that?
Okay, great question. So first and foremost, social media, it works, use it. And I follow all of your tips and your guidelines, and it's really about staying active and relevant on social media. In addition to that, pre-COVID, I took any opportunity that I could to get out there at these little pop-up markets. They work, and it's important to kind of just get out there and say, hey, I'm here and this is what I do and this is what I offer. And then word of mouth, once one person tries it, if they like it, then they'll share that with another friend, and hopefully word travels that way. But so far, that's what I found that works.
Have you ever communicated with Simply Pearl?
No.
Boutique Spa? I'm going to put y'all in touch.
Okay.
Okay. So, is there anything specifically about, well, no, let me go with this question.
Okay.
Knowing what you know now, and how long have you been in business?
7 years. Well, for the first 2, it was just a test kitchen. We never just dove right in.
Right. You had patience. So patience is something that I'm hearing in you. I could not be a soap maker because I don't have the patience. But having patience, what other quality would you say is super important in the industry that you're in?
I think you've stumped me, but I'm going to come up with something clever.
Attention to detail. Because, I mean, if you're writing stuff down and you're like, okay, that batch has been curing for 2 weeks and 4 days, it still has blah, blah, blah. I mean, how do you remember what you did on what? You just have notebooks?
So there's notes for every recipe. And as it's, after it's poured, as it sits, even just watching it basically cure, you watch how much water it loses. I mean, yes, it's a matter of taking notes and seeing what went well and what didn't and correcting it. I think, but another thing is also staying very in the know of new botanicals out there, and keep continuously learning about different plants and their medicinal properties or what they have to offer. I think that also is helpful and it helps to keep an edge.
Current research.
Yeah.
Okay, just so you know, I'm sending my children to your house to do their science fair projects.
Very good.
Because watching soap and how much water is coming out of it, and I think just I have this resource now. You're gonna go over to Shannon's house. Y'all are gonna talk it up. Okay, so which one is your favorite soap? Which one would you say is your favorite of all time? What is the one that you use on your own body the most?
Okay. So actually it needs to cure for about 2 years.
What?
And, yeah.
And you waited for that long?
I sure did. It's not even for sale yet. It's called Turkish Aleppo. And basically it comes from a laurelberry fruit. It cures for 2 years, and it's the oil's been flown in from Turkey. And it's really just the most magnificent bar. Basically because of the medicinal properties that bar offers to your skin. And you have to wait, and it takes a lot of patience. And over time, you watch it change colors and do its thing. So it's just very fascinating. And that's the one.
Where is that right now? Where is it back there?
So upstairs actually is my soap room. So I have a room and there's a rack that you'll see. It's typically soapers use what you call as an orchard rack, and each rack is filled with a soap that's been poured and curing at the time. So it's still curing, even though it's ready for use. I just keep it there. But it's quite interesting. If you get bored later and you want to look up Aleppo soap.
I don't know how to spell that.
Aleppo.
Oh, I was close. Okay, just left out a P. Okay, so a laurel berry fruit from Turkey.
Yes, that's it. Got it.
Okay, so when do you have an ETA on when I can get my hands on that bar of soap?
You know what? It actually might be by December.
Okay.
I'm gonna check into that.
You do that. Okay. So I'm writing December.
Okay.
That is also when my kitchens will be done. When
Ooh.
the kitchens will be done. Okay, so talk to yourself
Okay. Hey, self.
7 years ago.
Okay.
Tell yourself what advice would you give yourself starting this business and what you've been through? What would you say?
Okay. What I would definitely say is, even if it's a passion and a hobby that you want to do, don't just dive in. Take the time and do your research. Read the books. Follow soap makers. Read the forums. Join chemistry groups, because at the end of the day, anyone can bake a cake. But it takes a lot of hard work to make it right. And you just don't want to offer something that could possibly, you know, hurt someone's skin or do damage or cause an irritation, just because you're able to do it. Just really take the time and be patient, and read, do your research, and be authentic. Come up with your own recipes. We can all buy a book and follow, but take the time and play. Use your creativity to come up with what you want, and what you're trying to achieve.
Yes. Oh my gosh, authenticity is so
Be
freaking
authentic.
important. Yeah. So the thing that sets your business apart is your authenticity, your
Yes.
patience, your research, and your preparedness, I would say, which clearly comes out in your product. When you drop that off, I'm not a soap person. I have no idea. I had no idea. I feel like I just got a lesson. Okay. And but looking at your product and smelling it, hands down, I could tell this girl knows what she's doing. I didn't know much about you or anything, but it was clear in your product.
Thank you so much, Brooklyn.
You're welcome. And everybody at Dee Dee's, even the ones that had been drinking, said the same thing. It's unbelievable. So I'm sure that everybody that watches this now or later will be holding their breath for the Aleppo soap. And I'll do a tutorial. I'll buy that,
Okay.
and then I will talk about it and go live. In an appropriate way.
Okay.
But have you found that you have changed, or you were the fun, like fun, whatever, and then your other friends like English and proper and chemist?
Okay.
Have you found that y'all have come to the middle? She's become a little bit more like you, and you've bought into her proper ways too?
100%. 100%. So one of our first conversations, I told her, I was leaving and I said, I'm going to text you later or something like that. And she was meaning like, hey, text me. But instead she was like, private message me or something to that. I was like, what? And she meant text message. And I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. I wish I could really showcase, but yes, absolutely. And sometimes I'll just send her the most off the wall thing that I know definitely gets her going. And now she reciprocates in a different manner than before, whereas before it was kind of like, what are you doing, Shannon? And now she's got more of a quirky personality as well. So it's very lighthearted, and it really is just a beautiful friendship.
Yes. Talk to me about haters
Hater.
and copiers.
Okay. I gotta be honest. I really don't even pay attention to any of that, because at the
Mhm.
end of the day, I'm going to do what I'm going to do regardless.
Mhm.
And if you're not true to yourself, I just don't feel it's going to work anyway. So I
Right.
just, there's no room for that here. There's no room for that all up in my kitchen.
I love that. When you go out with your family, um, when you go on vacations or whatever, are you, because you're a soap maker
Yes.
and a chemist, I mean, you are, you and Shanna are you one that goes and like, and looks at all those things on vacation, just like an architect would walk in a restaurant and be like, huh, I like how they did that, or why would they do that?
100%.
You're like that?
Hmm. Every single bar of soap I'll pick up, read the ingredients, shake my head, nod of approval, something of that nature. But we always travel with our own soap, by the way.
Oh,
So
okay.
we travel with our own bars. And absolutely, I love walking into even like a spa and just reading and to myself approving or disapproving or wondering why they add that. Um, I find myself doing that often. So I do think I'm a bit of a critical judger in regards to that nature. I do critique. I remember going to a kid's place locally who had soap for sale, and I couldn't understand why they had soap for sale with synthetic fragrances and colorants. If you're going to do natural, keep it natural,
Yep.
especially if it's for the little guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a favorite ingredient? But
Hmm.
besides the Turkish Aleppo,
Okay.
like I really, when I go to Whole Foods, or when I go to my aunt's house in Austin, actually, she always has an almond soap, and every time I take a shower in there, it smells like I want to eat it because it
Okay.
just smells so good. Do you have a soap that you prefer?
Anything with almond smells amazing, and that is so true. I love butters. I love different butters, like mango butter, shea butter. I really love playing with butters because you can do so many things with them. You can make shower cubes, you can make soap, you can make lotion. So I love playing with any kind of butter and oil. The amount of oils that there are that we don't even know, like pumpkin seed oil. Most people don't even know that pumpkin seed has an oil, cucumber seed oil, carrot seed oil. I mean, the oils are endless. So I'm a passion for oils.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I don't even know what constitutes a butter.
Basically, it's hard, like what you would imagine with cocoa butter and shea. Um,
Uh-huh.
so you would whip it down, but it's in its natural form. So it's fully natural and organic, and that's how it's you know.
Right, right. Um, okay. So tell me with this last minute,
Okay.
um, how what was the time that you felt like when you first started your business, like everybody has that not first dollar they made, but that first big, like, wow, this is working. Do you remember a time like that where you felt like you had, I wouldn't say arrived, but you were just so proud because something that you had made a difference and
Yes.
somebody wanted it?
So I don't know that it was like that big. It was more of a wholesome moment.
Mhm.
There's an acupuncture back home whose dog had really severe eczema, and as interesting as this, I mean, it's totally, this is the moment that sticks the most. And she was actually she's who I would see for acupuncture. And I remember her telling me that her dog was losing hair and nothing she did would work. And so I gave her a few products to try. And when she came back about a month later, she raved about how much her dog's skin had improved in that area. And for us, I think that was our first aha moment. Like, we've got something here that's working. Um,
Wow.
and it was truly just from hearing that her dog's skin got better. Like, that was our big first aha, and it was giving it away for free.
Wow. Wow. I love that. Well, you are just like so unexpected and a wealth of knowledge and all the parallels. And then you and had no idea you had I didn't know what Natural Botanical stood for.
Yes.
So that's really awesome. I can't wait for the Turkish Aleppo, the laurel berry fruit. I love the research that you do. It comes out in, I mean, this interview, first of all, everything that you said just makes me a big fan. And I can't wait to put your link in the comments on Facebook. And I just appreciate you. And I hope you have a really great day. Yep. And you'll be getting an email from us later with a link to this. And anyways, I really appreciate you. So thank you. And I will talk to you later.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.